Hi. So, since I am now graduated from the IB, I thought I would share some of my top tips for the chemistry course. So, my first and probably the most important tip is to create a syllabus notebook. So, you know how they have those syllabus objectives in the beginning of each chapter? Like, for example, 1.1 define the mold concept, 1.2, so on. So I would suggest to take a separate notebook, write down each of these points and answer them straight to your notebook. So that will make your revision so much faster because you don't have to go through the whole textbook again. And these are the points that they definitely require you to know and they can ask you about. So yeah, here you can see, for example, I write down the chapter and then I write down the point that they're asking about. For example, chapter 6, kinetics. Then you have 6.1, rates of reaction. And then 6.1.1, describe the term rate of reaction. And so on for the whole course. My second tip would be the videos of a guy called Richard Thornley. He basically makes videos that are really easy to understand, and he focuses on the way that IB will ask you about it. So he basically makes a video of each separate assessment point, so that makes it really easy to go over some certain topics that you're unsure about and you just quickly want to revise it. So just type in Richard Thornley IB Chemistry into YouTube and you should be able to find those videos. And I found these really helpful. My third tip would be regarding options. And I'm not 100% sure how it is in other schools, but our teacher basically let us skim through the whole textbook, and we could just decide by ourselves which options do we want to study, and we did it by ourselves. So I would really suggest doing drugs and medicines because I found this chapter really interesting, and they also have like really common sense questions in the exam, like for example, what are the effects of caffeine or alcohol? Like, it's not very difficult to answer these. And for the second one I chose environmental chemistry, and I think if you, for example, study geography, then you can get some really good case studies from there. And yeah, it's also really like life related and I found it interesting. For number 4, I'm gonna write down all of the grade components. So it's 4 of them. The first one, lab reports, and then paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, of course. So each of these parts gives you a certain percentage of your final grade. So the labs give you 24%, paper 1 gives you 20%, paper 2 gives you 36%, and paper 3 gives you 20% as well. The lab reports and paper 2 definitely require much more effort from you than paper 1 and paper 3. You cannot do those in the last minute or study them in the last minute, as paper 2 is combined from all of the core topics, and these are usually long answer questions. And the lab reports, of course, require you being in the lab, writing them up on time and all that. So I kind of came up with a strategy how to do well in chemistry without doing extremely well in paper 2. So first of all, for the lab reports, you can get 48 points as the maximum, and I would say that try to get at least 40 points there. It is not that hard if you do your work on time and you really give it a try. It's not that hard. For paper 1, I definitely recommend doing the past papers, because the multiple choice questions tend to repeat themselves every now and then, and yeah, the more practice, the better you will get. For paper 3 as well, since that is the paper for the options, do a lot of past papers, because this paper is just based on 2 chapters, so the amount of content that is there is not that big, and they don't have that many questions to ask you, so you might also get some of these questions popping up again in your actual exam. And yeah, paper 2 is the tricky one, where I would say that getting 50% is already a good thing. So my plan was to get at least 20% for the labs, to get a fairly good grade, so 60% from paper 1. Then even if I would get only a half from paper 2, so 50% there, and then I would do a fairly good paper 3, which would be 60%, then that would already make up 70%, which is already equivalent to grade 6, which is really good. So you can see that even without getting a really good score on paper 2, you can still get a really high grade. And yeah, these were my main tips, and I managed to get a 6 in higher level chemistry, so I'm very happy about that. And let me know if you have any questions, or you want more videos from regarding IB. And yeah, thank you for watching, and good luck in your chemistry course.